So here's the deal with energy. At a point, we often face a human energy crisis where our body is no longer producing the capacity that we need to deal with the demands. And typically this happens at around the age of 30. Now cognitively, this happens at around the age of 20, where the brain is forming up until the age of 20, and then we start to see cognitive decline, believe it or not, that quickly. Again, the good news is that we can change this. This is just natural aging. And by the way, anyone who says that the way we're aging now is natural, that's garbage. We are so sped up with being overly connected and information overload causing chronic stress that what we see as normal aging is sped up, rapid cognitive decline. We can slow that down, but believe it or not, the thing that we have to do to make that happen is the thing that's hardest for us to do, and I'll include myself in the room with all of you, and that is to actually do less, to actually learn to relax, to actually take breaks, to force ourselves to take breaks, to practice things like meditation or listening to music that's relaxing or getting a massage on a regular basis. These things all sound great and they sound like luxuries, but I am telling you, they are the strategies that are most important to your health, not what you eat, how much you eat, and how often you work out. In fact, you've all probably heard this study about the longer you sit, the worse it is for your health. And that is actually regardless of exercise. So even if you get up in the morning and you work out, which yes is very important to you, and yes is very important to your health and your brain function as well, if you sit the rest of the day, you still have an increased rate of mortality because that's part of the energy oscillation. So, biggest take home before I go through all the rest of the strategies, I want you to take a piece of paper in front of you and a pen. I want you to draw one line through the middle of the page. This is going to be an activity that I want you to continue to think about. I just want to get you started. So blank piece of paper, line through the middle of it. I want you to think about your energy management on a daily basis. Now this is just going to be a typical day. I know while you're here it's a little bit different. But with that blank line through the center of the page, on the far left, I want you to write the time that you wake up in the morning. Okay? Start time when you get up in the morning, usually. Doesn't have to be exact. End time when you typically go to bed. And I want you to think about your energy expenditure and investment throughout the day. So here are 5 points I want you to think about. First of all, sleep time. From the time that you typically go to bed to the time that you typically get up, are you giving yourself at least 8 hours of sleep time? Okay, just the first thing to look at. Because what you do at bed and going to bed and getting adequate sleep is going to be one of the most important factors for the day ahead. So we always start the night before. So if you're not, that's going to be one of the first things you want to look at. Also, what are you doing right before you go to bed? Are you giving yourself a chance to actually turn off technology, turn off stimulation, not be looking at email, not be thinking about work? One of the biggest challenges I see for people these days is that they're tired at the end of the day, but they're wired. Their brain won't shut down. So looking at that evening time. Next thing is when you get up in the morning, what are you doing to prepare your brain for the day ahead? Are you doing something positive? Are you writing down things you're grateful for? Are you getting some exercise? Are you doing something to put your brain into a thriving state? Or are you jumping straight into survival mode? Checking email, watching the news, reading the paper. We get a lot of negative information, and the best thing you can do in the morning is jumpstart your brain with something positive. Humor is a great thing as well. Lots and lots of studies about humor and the benefits for brain health. So those are the first two. Then the third thing is thinking about your nutrition. When do you eat? Do you eat within an hour of waking up? Because that would be the ideal time to start to get your metabolism going. Eating within an hour of waking up, eating about every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day. The fourth thing would be movement. Are you taking movement breaks at least every 90 minutes? Optimally would be at least every hour if possible. And then the last thing, number 5, is taking mental breaks. Are you taking time for your brain to shift from logical, analytical, processing mode into something more reflective, creative, relaxing, and there's a lot of different ways to do that as well. So I want you to be thinking about that as you leave here. What's going to be the number one thing that you can do for yourself personally to have better energy that's going to get your brain into the optimal state to take on what's ahead. By the way, these are also important things for learning. So while you're here, hopefully you're thinking about these things as well. If you're sitting in long meetings and you need to stand up and stretch and move around to get circulation to the brain, that's going to help you retain all the information that you're trying to learn over the time that you're here.